one. Hey everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin. I'm joined by my fellow co-host, the number one Astros fan, Jay Christian Gary for Focus Fights.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, what's good, y'all? And second of all, I'm not really I can't really say I'm that much of the number one Astros fan. Just the number one fan to basically talk crap about defending my team. But
Well,
yeah,
sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
but yeah, I'm just happy to be an Astros fan, even though they lost to the Yankees earlier today. But still, it's a great day to be a fight fan in the world of combat sports, especially in MMA and especially in the Rizin Fighting Federation, where they just recently had Rizin Landmark 8 take place from Kobe World Memorial Hall this past weekend on Rizin, I guess Rizin Live and Rizin.tv, the English language broadcast just released a few days ago.
Well, technically not English because I was told that it didn't. Well, the captain in the Discord said that it didn't actually have commentary, so I
Oh,
guess
even
I guess available for us.
yeah, even better because we got to hear all the ambience around, you know, the fight. No, it's not so much the commentary, which of course, if you like Japanese commentary, hey, more power to you.
Yeah, I had to watch it on Rise Live, so brought back some memories of the pandemic era of having to
Mhm.
watch it through that. And can't deny, I do. It was kind of it brought a little. It's kind of nostalgic because you know that was an interesting time to be watching Rise, in my opinion.
Yeah, and an interesting time for us as we were basically on Twitch talking about it as well.
Mm. Thank God we don't have to do that anymore. I'm really glad we don't have to do that anymore. Um, but
I mean,
yeah,
hey, might give me some ideas down the line, but hey.
yeah. So I'm curious to know, Chris. I know that you are an Astros fan, but were you a fan of this show from this past weekend? Ryzen, Landmark, and Kobe.
It took me getting down to the final. It basically took me from like the middle of the card to actually get used to the structure of it. I mean, I stayed up, did my usual jotting down of entrance music, which of course you can check out on my new Twitter account. I
And
will.
also, please give it. Also, you did the jotting down of debuting fighters as well, which I really like as well. People who make their debut
Yeah,
in
of
Rise Live.
course, of course, but it still took me until the middle of the card just to get used to the structure and the energy of the event because in case you haven't noticed, the pacing of the show is incredible. It's like they just go from match to match to match, then intermission, and then obviously the final four matches, which we'll talk about in retrospect in a little bit. But still, though, it was just fun to be a part of that pacing, you know, especially
Hmm.
considering when it came down to the Abima fights all the way to the main card, and then from the main card all the way up to how they handled the situation with Nakamura versus Tanabe. I mean, it was basically just incredible pacing. If only they would have done something about the, broadcast situation for us here internationally so that we wouldn't have to go on to Rising.live, or it would be optional for us to go there.
Yeah, but hope they said that this was a one time thing. Hopefully they keep to their word. That's all I can say. Hey, listen, if they don't have any more comment, if they have a commentary-less like show, I'm all for that. I got no problem with that. Get hearing the raw ambient sounds of feet shuffling on the ring or cage, and the punches. That would be better than a Zoom commentary, in my opinion.
Yeah, of
Probably you
course. Don't
agree.
even get me started. It's been 4 years since they done that. They need to basically pay the airfare, the hotel accommodations, all the whole 9 yards, or get some local guys that can speak English and know about the sport well. Hint, hint, Mark Pickering, Stuart Fulton, CJ from Sogakaku,
Mm.
and get them behind the mic to do some rising fights. Hell, even Maurice Shelton a guy who I know personally who just done commentary for the FIBA 3x3 tournament would be a good commentator for Rizin down the line.
I agree. I agree. As long as they're in person, I don't care. Yeah, we're gonna first start off. We're gonna start from the prelim matches, which were all kick matches this time.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, the results there. There were two knockouts, and then the first one was a decision. Curious to know any thoughts on either of these three fights, Jay Krish?
The only fight that really got a lot of people interested was the Noda Aoi fight. Because Noda Aoi came in with a whole lot of hype surrounding him. He's a current world champion, I think, and he ended up taking the L, so to speak.
Yeah. I think it was also interesting as well that the Shun Matsuyama Shin Sakurai fight was interesting only because we saw a Teppen guy, Team Teppen, Tension's gym. That guy almost lost. He almost lost because he got knocked down in I think it was the first round, I believe. But yeah, that was he could have lost that fight. And against a guy like Shin Sakurai is not. That's not somebody who should be losing against. But you're right about Noda Aoi because he was a local guy, champion. Look, yeah, he's even got a picture. That means he's above the other guys who don't have a picture. So, but just curious to know as well, who would you like to see any of these six come back in a Rizin ring, or I should say Rizin ring or cage?
You know, I think they would have a lot of prospect on both Shin Sakurai and Noda Aoi, but you know, it would take some real interesting things for the other four guys to get back into Rizin competition, into their good graces, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, primarily local guys. So listen, they're bound to I mean, Shin Sakurai was also reused. He was from a previous Rizin show as well. So I fully expect at least one or two of these guys to come back next time they're in the Kansai region. But the three fights were fine. I got no problem with them. And we're just gonna also quickly go over the I was about to say the lone kickboxing match, which is not true on the main card, but the other kickboxing match, Yuya basically destroying Masaya Jaki. Any thoughts on this fight, good sir?
Oh, the silent Shingeki Yuya. I mean Shinkigeki actually, but still though, Yuya is definitely Rise through and through. But I wouldn't mind seeing him picked up by Rizin a little bit more often. As far as Masaya Jaki, I don't know. When it comes down to him, yeah, he fought in Rizin before. I think it was at Trigger or something. But still, though, he's going to need a little bit more work to get back into Rizin's good graces. I'd say he's not going to be Rizin worthy for now. I mean, maybe his tattoos might say otherwise.
His tattoos telling me he'll be Rizin worthy when they come back to Osaka or Kobe. I think it's also interesting as well that Yuya, I think he would have probably been on the. Remember, there was a Rise show the week before that El Dorado show. He would have absolutely have 100% been on the show if he was not on the Rise show because he always fighting in the big Rise shows. I don't know if you saw him on any of those shows.
I think I noticed that, but do you think that he would have also been a part of that K1 versus Rise series had he not been on this show?
Oh, that's a good question. Wait, 154? Oh, definitely. I think he definitely could have been, and probably should. And probably, I'll take that back. I think he should have been probably. He'll definitely. He got the big win here, plowing through Jockey. He's going to be on a Rise show coming up very shortly, and yeah, I think we're gonna see him very quick on a Rise show. Probably that big. They have a show coming up, right? Well, actually, he would have been. It would have been. So it's so funny. He could have been on that show, but we may not get to see him in another K1 versus Rise show because remember the Rise president just said we're not going to be working with K1 for quite a while. I don't know if you saw that.
God. I mean, come to think of it, Stuart Fulton probably felt the most disappointed that Rise lost to K1. He was on commentary for the latter half.
Yeah. So it would have been good, but he got the Rise in paycheck. So I guess he can't be too unhappy, but hopefully down the line when K1 and Rise fix their relationship, we'll be able to get that type of fight. Now we're gonna get into the good shit, as they say. Main event, non-title. Satoshi surprisingly TKO's Keitaro Nakamura. I thought unexpected. I did not expect that Satoshi would win that way. Any thoughts, Jay Krish?
And actually, I kind of did. I mean, we have to think. Satoshi getting his ass handed to him in non-title matches has happened before. Obviously, with AJ McKee beating him with both AJ McKee and Patricky Pitbull knocking him out and beating him up on those two Bellator-related shows, I guess. But still, though, Satoshi is on his good shit right now. I would have to think that he basically needed that fight to shake off the bad vibes of those two losses. But I would definitely need to think that, wouldn't you think that Roberto Satoshi de Souza would do better facing off against a more experienced level of competition outside of guys like Keitaro? No disrespect to him, because he fought in Bellator and the UFC before and is also a former Sengoku champion. But wouldn't Roberto Satoshi de Souza, after that performance, be better suited for facing off against, tougher competition like the two fights that he had against Bellator veterans?
That is a good point. I mean, because it's funny also, let's be honest, Jay Wolf is right. That fight that he took with Pitbull was on short notice, and he broke his hand also during the fight. The fight with AJ McKee was very competitive. Some say that he won, but I watched the fight a second time. When it happened, I don't think Satoshi won it at all. I thought he did at first, but no, not the second viewing. He clearly can. He can hang with top competition at times when he has a full camp and he's free when he's able to train properly. It looks like, because he also, remember, he beat Spike Carlisle in that match that they had. He beat Johnny Cage the second time. So he's clearly is. You're right. You're 100% right that he's above. He is above just, I guess, local or just Japanese only competition.
I mean,
I'm gonna.
Come to think of it, we saw how he did against Tofik Musayev at the Tokyo Dome.
Oh yes, that too as well. That really sold me on Satoshi as a full MMA fighter. That he's just not this jiu-jitsu guy. I mean, ironically submitted him for jiu-jitsu move. But it's funny, in this fight, he could have probably submitted him though, but he chose not. He looked like was trying not to submit him. It seems like he wanted to. Listen, there was a head kick. And then you had the ground and pound. That was like such an un-Satoshi way to finish a fight.
Come to think of it, it just shows that even jiu-jitsu fighters, even jiu-jitsu practitioners can have hands too. But still, though, when it comes down to Satoshi, I think it's time for him to boost up the competition level a bit. Even though we've seen how that happened before, I think if his next title defense for that matter ain't against somebody, not even from Brazil, but really outside of Japan, then Rizin's doing something wrong. So
I think without question he's got to defend the title next, and the person he's got to defend it against when he's all healed up is Luis Gustavo. I don't think there's anybody else.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Do you have anybody else?
I understand Luis Gustavo, he's coming off an ACL tear. I can understand that, he would just need a couple, maybe one more fight just to get into title contention himself. But you have to think, wouldn't it be best for him to face off against, true competition that many people wouldn't see as... no disrespect to Luis Killer Gustavo, but wouldn't you see Satoshi getting a better fight against an international talent as a way to prove that he's elite rather than against Gustavo, where people would just see them both as inferior?
Well, you see, the thing is that Luis Gustavo is currently, I think he's on a 2 or 3 fight winning streak, maybe more, 4 or 5 winning streak. And yeah, if he beat Poirier at Landmark 8 this year. Now, he broke his hand during that fight and he had to get pins or whatever put in his hand. So once he's healed, give him 3 or 4 months. I think by the September show, whatever show that is, and then if not, at least for New Year's, provided there's no other complications, these two should fight for the belts. Because also Satoshi hasn't defended his belt once his entire time while he's champion, so he's got to at least defend it once this year, I believe.
True, but he has been defending the honor of the promotion, though.
That's true. But he's the champion, and he has to defend that belt, or else how can you be a champion if you don't defend your belts? As I say.
Right, of course. I mean, just ask Roman Reigns and Hulk Hogan that shit.
Oh yeah. So what about Keitaro? I mean, this is his first. Well, I should say first, but the last time he was in the lightweight, probably at the beginning of his career, maybe like the first few fights that he had, and new weight division. He looked like shit. He did an interview with Jake Riggs, and he looked like absolute shit. He looked fucking miserable. Should he stay at lightweight, or do you think he should go back to 170, even though there's not a lot of competition at 170?
I think he should probably wait for that next call for a welterweight fight. But then again, you're saying that he looked like shit. I mean, obviously, his wife is probably going to look even worse when it comes down to that Pancrase card this weekend. But when it comes down to Keitaro, he lost to Igor Tanabe. No, wait, actually, no. Did he fight Igor?
No, that was a fight that got canceled. That was Satoshi. That fight didn't happen.
Damn, I see. But still, though, point of the matter is Keitaro Nakamura is just best suited as a welterweight. I don't think him going down to lightweight would do him any good.
Do you go ahead?
Even though, of course, Rizin would not only need to build a better divisions past 70 kilos, 155 pounds. They would need to basically, get on the horn with a lot of agents, with a lot of managers, just to get some foreign talent funneled through those divisions. But I do think that Keita Nakamura needs to stay at the division he's at, which is 170, and start working his way back up from there.
Yeah, I don't mind if they want to run back the Strategic fight with Fat Ninja, that's fine. But I have no problem if they were to do Keitaro and Fat Ninja. I don't know. What do you think about that as a potential fight?
I think that Keitaro Nakamura better be ready for a quick fight, because Igor Tanabe, who didn't want to risk a no contest against Strasser Kichi Kunimoto, Keita is going to end up being just another victim if he faces off against him.
Yeah, but I mean, again, not a lot of people at 170, and Keitaro even said the reason why he went the lightweight is because there was more competition. I am fine with giving him one more fight at lightweight. If he loses it, then clearly the weight cut is not good, and he shouldn't stick at lightweight. I don't know who you give. I think it's I don't know. You give him a Yachi, or you give him. I was about to say Takeda, but he's not a lightweight anymore. We're gonna talk about next. I'm trying to think of just like fighters. I'm not opposed to giving him or an easier. I'll say an easier lightweight, he's not lightweight anymore as well. I feel like you could give him anybody. If he wins, stick a lightweight, give it a shot. You could attribute this to the first time or long time weight cut that he hadn't done in a long time. So I'm not opposed to that. But if he wants to go back to 170, I think the Igor fight is totally fine to do. Now, speaking of Takeda, who is no more at lightweight, but now somehow has made the featherweight division, he hugged Kyohei Hagiwara to a win, which I think most people expected, though I kind of figured he was going to finish him. What do you think of this fight, Jay Krish?
I mean, come to think of it, did you see how jacked Koji Takeda looks now? He looks like shredded wheat.
Oh yes, with the beard as well makes him look like he just came from a trip in Dagestan.
Shit, I'm pretty sure. I mean, the dude looks jacked and ready for a potential featherweight. I mean, I really wouldn't say featherweight title opportunity, but I would say he definitely looks like he can tangle with some of the best featherweights in the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. He definitely did get tired though, and that's no doubt to the weight cut. There was that low blow. I thought that this fight was going to go the way that no contest because he was taking forever. The doctor molested him as Isha on his show said, and then yeah, I thought like, oh god, this fight's going to be a no contest, and they're going to have to redo this fight. But luckily, no, it didn't happen. The other highlight, the other highlight of this fight was when Kyohei Hagiwara. This must have been the first time he's ever done this in his career. He reversed a takedown from Koji Takeda. I mean, Koji Takeda got like right back up, but like I was like that made me jump out of my seat because I just could not believe it. But yeah, snaps his losing streak. What do you think? What would you do for Takeda next at I keep on wanting to say lightweight, featherweight for him?
I was really hoping that you wouldn't talk about him getting punched in the dick and basically having to spend almost the entire 5 minutes on the mat playing.
Hey, he milked that time. Listen, he got up at 4:59, I think, or maybe 4:55. And listen, hey, them's the rules.
Yeah, but still, though, Hagiwara did his best to at least try and make the fight fun.
Yeah,
by stuffing that takedown, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
It's just the fact that when it comes down to big pressure situations, yeah, we've seen Koji Takeda go through these before. Kyohei Hagiwara, I mean, I know judge a book by its cover. No, don't judge a book by its cover. He has a under 500 record now. I mean, I don't know. That fight left a lot more to be desired from Hagiwara, even though now he is very much under 500.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 7-9 now. I mean, but still immensely a well-known name. Listen, anytime they come to the Kansai region, they're gonna book him. Anybody who you would put against Hagiwara next?
To be honest, I don't know. They would probably have to do like what they did with Taka Kenshin. Give him somebody that can be beatable.
The thing, though, is that they don't give him easy fights. They do not. In fact, they tend to match him very horribly. They tend to match him with people that, for the most part, run right through him. So, I mean, yeah, you're right, but I just don't think they're going to go that route. I'm trying to think right off the top of my head. I don't. I mean, if he has fought a who's who in Rizin. I mean, here's the thing. So I know that he's already going to be fighting. You know who he should do? Depending on, I guess, how their fights go, he should fight. You got that feud with the Azakura. You know what? He should fight one of those Taisi Nishitani. I think after Nishitani's upcoming fight that he's having.
Come to think of it, either Taisei Nishitani or Hiroya Kondo, right?
Hiroya's a flyweight. He's flyweight. I'm not. I also would not be surprised or would be opposed if down the line they did Yaman versus Kyohei Hagiwara.
Are you sure? Because the popularity for that fight would be one-sided, especially for Yaman.
I think. Well, here's the thing: you do it in Osaka. I think you balance it out pretty good. I think you have a nice balancing act because all the Osakans will come out for Hagiwara.
Oh yeah, especially for that man's entrance alone.
Yeah. Takeda. Did I ask you if you have any fights for any potential future matchups with Takeda?
Uh, to be honest, considering the fact that everybody else is either pre-booked or off doing their own little things, I don't know. Maybe you would get him a foreign opponent next if the opportunity presents itself.
Hmm. Not opposed to that. Can't think of a foreign opponent off the top of my head, but yeah, I guess technically he is a foreigner, but I think sometime down the line they gotta do Kleber versus Takeda. Because
Ooh,
I think because I would have liked to have seen a Satoshi versus Takeda match, but this will have to do with Kleber. Kleber's kind of like in a limbo right now because you got the Chihiro Suzuki Kanehara fight coming up,
mm,
and I don't. I think. Well, I think I think you could maybe do a title eliminator between Takeda and Kleber, because I don't think you want. Because the problem is that Kleber fought both, lost to Kanehara, won against Suzuki. So I think you want to try to find any excuse to not have those two, him fight either Kanehara or Suzuki. So I think Takeda versus uh, Clever should be a fight that should be made down the line, in my opinion. Any
yeah.
thoughts?
Here's the thing, though.
Mhm.
What about Patricio Pitbull, who's waiting right in the wings?
Oh well, whatever happens with oh boy, yeah, that kind of fucks things up as well.
Yeah,
I'm
it does.
I take you here, not Chihiro. I tell Pitbull, wait your turn, boy. You listen. That whole fight just screwed up. That whole fight has screwed up so much in Rizin at this point. So yeah, I tell him to calm down, wait out for the end. We'll see how the end of the year goes.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, of course, because knowing how PF Elator, as y'all call it, are basically doing things, especially with those god awful fight kits that they have the fighters wearing,
hmm,
and how everybody's pretty much robotic, just like how it is in the UFC nowadays.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that, you know, they say that this whole thing is going to continue with PFL, Bellator, and Ryzen, but I highly doubt it will continue in the same vein because of, you know, that.
yeah. So we're gonna move on next to Naoki Inoue outpointing Shoko Sato. Much to my surprise.
It
Any thoughts on this fight?
was bound to happen. I mean, Shoko Sato beat, who did he beat again?
He beat
Ota?
Ota, those two were supposed to fight. Inoue was supposed to fight Ota. Inoue injured his back. So Sato had, I think, week or 2 weeks notice. And then, yeah, Sato beat Ota.
Yeah, Sato wasn't even supposed to be in this predicament in the first place. It was supposed to go to Shinobu Ota.
Yeah.
But when it came down to it, I guess Sato took advantage of an opportunity. And
Yeah.
he ended up getting outpointed, like you said in the caption, by Inoue.
Yeah. Now, Ota's facing Ushiku at the next Rising show. So, yeah, I don't even think they're going to try to run back Ota Inoue at this point. I mean, yeah, Inoue really didn't do anything that really impressed me so much. He's definitely moving a lot slower, in my opinion, though he's using a lot more striking, to my surprise. I think the only match that's viable at all for Inoue at this point is facing Kai. And that should be at probably Ryzen Super Ryzen 3, or maybe the end of this year. I don't know. They tried to book that fight a million times though, and something always fucks it up. I mean, I don't know. If you have any other thoughts on what you would do with Inoue next?
I mean, to be honest, give him the opportunity. I mean, if you have him win more in impressive fashion, I would basically say give him an opportunity to speak more, even though, of course, that's what Rising Confessions and preparation is for. But still, though, I think he needs to break out of his cycle, so to speak. And if he keeps winning, no matter who it is against, he's going to continue to break out his cycle.
Mm-hmm.
As
Mm-hmm.
far as Sato goes, I mean, would you say that it's time for him to go back to the regional scene?
Oh, absolutely not. I think taking the Ota fight on short notice and beating him, and then taking this fight, and yeah, he got beat, but he didn't get like dominated by Inoue. So I think I would love to see him back. I think you give him an easy fight. I think the fight that Sato can get a win with, and this basically is a thank you from Sakaki Bar for saving the the landmark card from that he saved last year. You give him the Kenta Takizawa. I think Sato plows through Kenta Takizawa. I know King Silo hates Takizawa, but he's there for a reason because he's a good gatekeeper. He'll win. He'll lose 5 fights and then win 1. That's what I would like to see.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, it would be a fun fight seeing Naoki Inoue versus Kenta Takizawa. Now that
No, I meant Sato versus Takizawa.
Oh, Sato versus Takizawa. Oh,
yeah,
right. But still, though, I wouldn't agree with you any less, so to speak. I think that fight should happen, but it should be a deal breaker fight for Sato, especially considering the fact that, like you said, he already beat Shinobu Ota. He just lost to Naoki Inoue. If he beats a former Rizin if he beats a former King of Pancrase champion in Kenta Takizawa, I think that's going to lead to him being more and more entrenched in the Rizin roster, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm curious to know that if he decides to take any fights from Shuto or Pancrase. I wonder if he'll do that to kind of, I guess, try to pad up his record on this loss. I'm really curious if he does that, or if he doesn't. Maybe he goes back to 1. Probably not. No.
Oh God,
He won't do that.
You know what? Do not even get me started on that damn 1 championship.
So I think in a way you finally do the fight with Kai title shot, and then Kai wins, probably goes to UFC. Kai loses, maybe still goes to UFC. I have no idea. But I think
Kai wins that fight between him and Inoue. He's definitely bound for the octagon.
Yeah, because they tried to do that fight many times. Might as well try again this year because I feel like they try to do that fight every year and it gets screwed up somehow.
Yeah, of course. But then again, if Kai does go to the UFC off of this, beating a former UFC fighter while defending his title and yada yada yada, don't be surprised if the Western world, if the Western Hemisphere fight fans, which we are part of, basically treat him like shit.
Of course, yeah. Now this fight, it's a bit controversial. I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts on it. Reina, to some, beating, to others, soundly beat Yuri Shim from Road FC Korea. What did you think? Give me what you thought about this fight.
To be honest, what I thought about this fight, I can't really say I didn't pay attention to it the first time I seen it, but I was entrenched in it because if you look at Reina, she hadn't had a fight in 10 months since getting submitted by Claire Lopez, who ended up taking her ball and fumbling it. No disrespect to her. And then you had Yuri Shim, who hasn't had a fight in almost 3 years since she was basically handed the Road FC Atomweight title. I mean, that fight is probably only controversial because of the fact that many people seen Reina taking this fight as, her half-ass, so to speak.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I did not think this fight was good. This fight is pretty darn boring. Almost, I should say 3, almost, but almost a lot did not happen memorable in this match.
I mean, come to think of it, do you think it's because of the fact that when it comes down to actually fighting in a cage, Reina Kubota sucks at it?
I think that's a factor. I think she's just not used to the environment that a cage provides and for what she needs, what she wants to do as a fighter and what her style is. The cage is she was fighting shoot boxing her entire career in a ring. She comes to Rizin, fights all of her matches, almost all her matches, Yeah, all of her matches up to that point in a ring. She has a Bellator fight in a cage, loses.
Square Garden loses.
Yep. And then she got the win back against Lindsey Van Sant in a ring, New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. She has other the Claire Lopez fight, like you said, in a cage, loses. So I don't think that the cage is something that she is just that's her advantage for what she wants to do, for how she wants to fight, and how she walks down her opponents.
Oh yeah, of course, because of the fact that she is now 1-3 in cage fights now.
Yeah, you're right. She's 1-3. Yeah,
maybe she needs to be on more of these damn Rizin landmark shows just to get a better feeling for fighting in a cage. Mm-hmm. Especially if she ends up going to fight more often in North America, be it for the PF Bellator faction or, possibly for Scott Coker's new brand out in the Bay Area.
Oh, yeah, that too as well. So I was urged to watch this fight again by Isha from City Life Project, same by J Wolf, same by another person as well. And here, so J Wolf thinks that Reina won. Isha thinks Yuri Shim won. So here's what I'll say about this. I think this is a fight that was judged under unified rules. Yuri Shim clearly wins. In terms of what the criteria.
Yeah.
My thoughts are I promise you're the other person that told me to watch a fight, Daniel, and I did rewatch it. So, and I rewatched it, and so the way that Verizon judges fights, and Composer retweeted the criteria is that the majority of points are scored. They scored for damage / finishing, and if there's not enough damage or not enough attempts to finish, then generalship. So like controlling the fight, being the one who's dictating the pace. So I think the reason why they gave it to Reina as a unanimous decision, possibly, home cooking decision, that's understandable. Mm-hmm. But I also think that second round, when she had the arm lock in, she had the Kimura locked in, and then also, was it the third round? The third round when she mounted her and was delivering elbows. They scored that as damage and attempts to finish, which scored more than what Yuri Shim was trying to do with her dictating the fight, the pacing, the takedown that kind of really she didn't really do a lot of the takedown. So I think that's why they gave it to Reina. Possibly also because Japanese judges giving it to a Japanese fighter. But it happens so rarely where I'm like, oh, they gave it to because historically it's been less now than it was in the prior era, where fighters who were Japanese were given lopsided decision wins over people that they Korea lost to. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Christian, whether who you thought won or the criteria for how you would think score the fight. Any thoughts?
I mean, it's like you opined, especially when it comes down to this fight. If it was scored under unified rules, which, of course, if you know what unified rules are, it's basically a fight based off of a 10-point must scoring system, round winner 9 or less, based on effective striking, grappling, aggression, and cage control in that order. Mm-hmm. But still, though, I mean, it's like you said, if Yuri Shim would have had this fight if this fight would have been under unified rules, Yuri Shim would have definitely won.
Yes.
It's just the fact that, Jay Wolf probably complained, oh, where was the superior rule set action? They got to know the assignment.
Well, in fairness, Reina did give one knee to the head of Yuri Shim. One knee, though.
Oh, right, of course.
It was one. It was one. It was barely anything. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But still, though, I think this fight is only boring. I think this fight was only boring because of the fact that you had two fighters, both of whom hadn't been in action in a while. Reina, like I said, in 10 months, Yuri Shim hasn't had a fight in 3 years, almost 3 years. And to be honest, I think this fight would have been a hell of a lot better if they would have been able to have tune-up fights to both of them, you know, ahead of time just to shake off all this stuff.
We Kobe Day says, "How's the fight boring?" I mean, because nothing, neither of them did anything that made me go, "Oh, this person clearly won. No, this person dominated." And yeah, Reina was. I don't know if it was the cage rust, but she did not. She did not look good in the winning outcome. I thought that Yuri Shim honestly just looked. I think she looked overall better. I was more impressed by Shim's fighting ability, which actually also Kobe Day says that JMOC that's
The
the
Japanese officials committee.
yeah, they're having a presentation right now about the rise of the landmark decisions. I would be very interested to hear when they come to that. Vote for active close fight was fun. I sincerely disagree. It wasn't. It got the best parts of the fight were when Reina mounted Shim and was delivering those elbows. That was to me was the only memorable part of that entire fight. Yuri Shim was nowhere close to being subbed when Reina had that arm lock. And she even I think Yuri Shim was like, nope, like I'm okay. I had a thought about what to do with these two next, and I don't know if you agree, but because of the wishy-washy decision, how would you feel about a rematch between these two, Jake Fish?
I wouldn't feel sad about it, but it would have to be in a ring.
I think it's fair. No, I think you do rematch in a ring. I am totally fine with that. The only thing though is sorry,
either that, or if there is no rematch, at least for a while, then you have Reina Kubota fight against, some run of the mill Japanese and some run of the mill women's Japanese anime, or bring in some foreign competition. And as far as Yuri Shim goes, see how she does in Road FC if she, even is still the atomweight champion there.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe they'll bring her to Deep, since Deep's getting all those Korean fighters.
Are you sure about Deep? Because also she is the Black Combat champion as well. Well, actually, no, I don't think she is a Black Combat champion. Shit,
it's the other one.
Huh?
It's the other woman, the other Korean woman who you're thinking of, I think.
Oh, right.
Park.
Sankaru.
I think it's Park, the one who just lost to Izawa this past weekend, I believe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, maybe you put Yuri Shim in Deep or in Black Combat.
Like you said, if they can do it in a ring, I don't know. Do it in a ring. That's my criteria. And then hopefully we get a more definitive winner, in my opinion. Kobe takes Yuri Shim versus Kate Lotus. That's fine. I mean, Kate Lotus looked good in the Deep Jewels show this past weekend. And Rainer versus well, here's the thing as well. We got the big elephant in the room is Seiki Izawa. That tournament, the Atomweight tournament, Super Atomweight tournament that they did 2 years ago, was clearly supposed to be a finals between Reina and Seiki Izawa. And that is one of the few fights that Izawa needs to do before she decides to retire or versus Oshima. So, yeah, I think you listen, either do a rematch or, just do the fucking Izawa versus Reina fight at this point, because I don't like this whole. I don't like waiting for these fights, or trying to hope that they become finals in a tournament. Sometimes you just gotta roll with it. Sometimes just what, if the fight's there, just fucking do it. I think. I don't know. What do you think about that? I don't like too many times these promotions are like, oh, you clearly can pick out who they want to win the tournaments or go to the finals of tournaments, and then that doesn't happen. I don't know. I think it's just stupid. Just do the fight. Just put it on. For your numbered show or supervisor show or whatever. What do you think, Chris?
I mean, I think when it comes down to Reina's career. You already put the nail in the coffin. No, you already put shit. What am I trying to say? You pretty much hammered that nail perfectly in that her last two fights should be against Saori Oshima and Seiki Izawa. But now with this fight against Yuri Shim basically ending in a controversial fashion, I think that Reina's gonna be pretty damn busy before she ever decides to hang her little pointer finger and gloves up.
So yeah, but I still have to answer Isha's question whether I still thought that Reina won. I think she won, not by a lot. I do think a split decision would have been the fairest route for this fight. Um, and disappointing adventures, unfortunately. I
Mm,
think on the preview show, I said that as long as Yamamoto does not put his neck out, he'll be fine. Turns out it was not the neck, but it was the other half of the body, his
the
leg, which
legs.
yes, which Yu Monkey Shibata, no relation to Katsuyori, as far as I know, took home with him. So yeah, I mean, this fight lasted. We're gonna probably talk about the fight more than how long the fight lasted. I mean, what do you think, J. Chris?
Man, Yuya Monkey Shibata is rising worthy. You can go ahead and say it right now. He's been in deep for far too fucking long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I,
look at it.
I think that when it came down to that particular fight, Urson was just up shit's creek without a paddle. And I mean SHIT creek. But still, though, point of the matter is, Urson knew that he was going to come into this fight, you know, in a bad way. I just didn't think it would be by having his leg completely snapped from a Yuya Monkey Shibata heel hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Listen, this fight they clearly booked this fight because they wanted Arasan to get a win. I don't think they're gonna still try it for the next fight, whatever they decide to put Arasan against. But hey, listen, I say welcome. Definitely, he's definitely rising worthy, monkey. Um, listen, Riser's got a ton of flyweights. Like you said, they got Hiroya before. Who else have they got? They got Yuki Ito. They got Takagi Soya. Man, there
And
you
that's
pick
just
of the litter.
these
So go
names,
ahead.
dude.
Sorry.
That's just the Japanese names. You also got Ramzan Timarov. You got Askimov, who couldn't make weight in that first fight on the main card. I
Yep.
mean, hell, you obviously got John Dodson, who's going to be defending his BKFC belt this weekend. And if he puts on a good performance, he's definitely going to get the red carpet treatment coming back to Rising.
Oh yeah. Listen, pick of the litter. Like I said, with this fight. But I don't think that's an easy. That's kind of easy to decide what you want to do with Monkey. Question is, what you do with Urson next?
Oh my God, I don't know. Maybe to quote the words of an old pro wrestling promo, it's time to go home and be a family man. But
Well, it's. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but seriously though, considering the fact that Urson is well over 500 at this point, I don't know. Maybe it's time to rethink his career choices. Even though his mom just retired, he probably still has cold sweats thinking about why he didn't fight on the same card as his mother. But still, though, either I mean, it's like that one sign at Apollo Theater. You probably remember this one: "Be good or be gone."
Be good or be gone. I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think what Urson Batman Yamamoto needs to do is try to improve. Maybe get some fights in some promotions like Deep, maybe Shudo, maybe see if King of the Cage could give him a call if they have another weird named event coming up soon. But still, though, point of the matter is he needs to improve by fighting more outside of Rising because I think the pressure is starting to get too big for him, especially considering the fact that now that his mother's retired, he is the only one of his ilk that's still fighting these days. And I think that if he doesn't improve, he's going to need to go ahead and hang up the damn gloves and finally retire.
So just some brief, some fights I think would be fine. Do the Fukuda rematch because he was winning that one. I'm also not opposed to I wish he would do like go like fighting deep or something or Pancreas or someplace, but whatever. He's not doing that. But if you want to do the Fukuda rematch because he was winning that fight, I think that's a fair matchup to do again. And then I'm it's so hard to define like what's an easy fight for him to win because the problem is that he can lose from even like at any point. Yeah, Kobe Day says Ersan Yamamoto versus Roy. Don't care about coming off a win. Again, it's a pick of the litter of him because it's a coin toss. He can get subbed by even the weakest grappler, in my personal opinion, if the opportunity allows for it. I think we'll see him again. I don't know. I think we'll probably see him again. I don't think for Super Rising, but probably I think they're gonna put him on New Year's. And so this was an interesting fight that happened. Was Kintaro finally snapping that? Oh my god, that absurd losing streak that he had. I think it was 4 or 5 fights. Didn't get a finish, but without doubt, outpointed Daiki Lightyear. Knocked him down a bunch of times, but didn't finish. Any thoughts on this fight?
I mean, it's like what you were saying in the caption. Yuto Hokumura, aka Kentaro Masakiri, he has a new fire lit under his ass. And I think after having a 4-fight losing streak, he definitely needed one.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he's still the Kentaro that I remember from Pancreas, who was knocking out fools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you want, what would be best for him next, because I think he's no longer that guy. We saw kind of the shell of his former self in this fight. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know who we like. I don't know. Ushiku? If you're still in the chat, Kobe Day, was that something you want to see? Kintaro versus Ushiku? I don't know. I mean, he's fighting Ota, but like after that fight, I guess I have no idea.
I think Kintaro versus Yutaka Saito would be better.
Go up, okay. Interesting. What about Daiki Lightyear? Do we see what is he? Is he Rizin worthy? I think it was his first fight in Rizin, I believe, right? Wasn't this his first fight?
Oh yeah, that was the first fight in Rizin for Daiki.
Oh wait, no, it wasn't. Oh, I forgot. He had that. He had one in 2021. Damn. That was funny. That was his last win, ironically enough. Anyway.
Yeah, so he's 1-1 in Rizin. I mean, I don't know if you do give him another fight on a card like this for Landmark. I think that you would probably put him on the prelims of the next numbered card that ends up going back to like Kobe or something.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. Let's see, where else has he fought? He's mostly a Shudo guy. Yeah, listen, Shudo will probably find some use for him. And then, probably will get a win in Shudo because he's doing better in Shudo than he is in Rizin. Well, I mean, other than the last 3 fights that he's had. So, yeah, I'm on what you said, or go back to Shudo and try to win there. So, but I think this is a much more important fight that we got to talk about. This is the fight that everybody was looking forward to, and that was Taka Kenshin getting his first MMA win, overruling lawyer Cody Jerabek in a. I don't know how to characterize this fight. Was this fight good? Was this fight bad? Good? I don't know.
It was so sloppy. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, it's well, I mean, he got his first MMA win. He's 1-3 now. Listen, glad it happened now, because if it didn't happen now, I would have no idea what the fuck you do with him, because clearly, 0-4, you have no hope. I'm sorry.
I think he would. I mean, you can go ahead and look back on that last comment on the YouTube saying that Joji Goto is on a milk carton. I think that he would be a better use for a future Rizin card at flyweight, mind you, than Taka Kenshin would be as a failing heavyweight. Or super heavyweight in his case.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. I also thought it was an early stoppage. Kobe Day is going to probably argue with me with that. But listen, the guy was still withstanding, covering up. That to me is still intelligent defending. He didn't fall down. So, but listen, I'm not gonna die on the hill of that. There's more things to die on, die on the
Man,
hill on. I mean, what do you think is next for Tiger Kenshin, Jay
I
Chris? What
think
would
I
anything?
think you give him more opponents like Cody Jerabek, except that this ain't the pandemic anymore. You're not gonna get Lord Lane St. Ilmay to come through that door because he's probably stationed somewhere else. And you're probably not gonna get some fat sumo guy or some failing sumo guy who happens to be a foreigner just come through that door either. I think that when it comes down to this fight, and we're seeing the comments now, Cold Mayday says Taka Kenshin versus Shrek.
Which already happened.
Yeah,
So I mean, once you want to do that match again, I mean,
Taka Kenshin has the better heavyweight legend in his corner than his brother, and who might that be?
he had TK in his corner.
Oh, Kosaka, right.
Yeah,
But still, though, I think you build on this and have Taka Kenshin face off against more lower ranking foreign talent. Because, of course, Jerabek only had one fight in the LFA and lost his other fight in karate combat to a UFC veteran, and, of course, is a failed paralegal.
mm.
But still, though, from the way how he talked in that in that post fight presser saying, "Hey, I had a good time. It was an amazing experience." That basically tells me he ain't gonna be coming back to Rizin anytime soon.
I think so.
But
I know. I yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, but I have a feeling that if you don't get somebody like Jerabek back, you're gonna have Taka Kenshin basically fight lower ranking foreign guys with just lower records than him, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, well, so yeah, I know that someone in the chat or in Discord said that do Shrek versus Cody Jerabek. I don't know why.
Oh
I'm
no. No.
not.
Do you want to see demolition or do you want to see a shit show? Because I
Yeah,
think you're gonna probably see a shit show more than you'll see demolition.
yeah, um, yeah. Definitely not rising worthy. Cody Jerabek. Taka Genshin. Listen, maybe listen. He was in good shape. He definitely lost a lot of weight since his last fight. So listen, credit to him. He seems to be improving. Um, you know, do the fight versus his brother. That's all I say. That will be funny.
I
The first
mean, do
time
you
ever.
think that fight would happen before Taka Kenshin retires?
I don't know. Well, I hope it happens before his brother goes to UFC. And Kobe Day. I know who Brandon Hashimoto is. He fought Rocky Martinez at that one. What was it? The Brawl show. That was the one where he got disqualified. He won by disqualification, but then they're like, oh no, wait, soccer kicks are allowed. So yeah.
Wow.
No,
You,
wait, I'm sorry. That was Yokoya McGregor. Yokoya McGregor.
you
The
know what?
other.
Now that you think about it, I'm definitely going to need to see that Brawl International 3 show just because you mentioned that Brandon Hashimoto was on there.
No, I'm sorry. It was Yokoya McGregor, the other weirdly named heavyweight. There's like
Oh,
it's yeah.
right. But yeah, I'm going to definitely need to see that show, and Brandon Hashimoto would definitely be, you know, looked at as a future Taka Kenshin opponent, I
Oh
guess.
yeah. I think Daniel also has a good point. Bring in some pro wrestler who fought his brother. Well, actually,
Oh,
no.
no.
Dylan James is not in Japan anymore, as far as I know. I don't think he was in Japan anymore.
Yeah, because of the fact that he doidled some little girl, no, some girl or something.
Yeah, and then
Either
also
that just
you have
a
the issue with Minowa Man. I think Minowa Man could beat Taka Kenshin.
oh
I really,
yeah, most definitely Minoa Man could beat Taka Kenshin. I'm just thinking that Daniel James probably ain't in Japan anymore because he's an absorbently incredible piece of shit.
yeah. Um, this next fight, I really have nothing to say that much about. It was boring. I don't think it should have gone to Kubo as a win, but yeah,
Uh,
Kubo defeated Ryogo Takahashi. If you got any thoughts on this fight, Chris? You probably got maybe 100 times more to say because I really don't have that much to say.
I'm just happy Yuta Kubo got the win. I'm happy that his wife Sarah stayed at Kate's side and didn't really do too much during the entrance. I mean, obviously, I just thought that this match, it was not worth watching. But hey, congrats to Kubo on a great win. I don't know what the hell you do with Ryogo Kaitai Takahashi except, well, tell him to kick rocks because he's on a
Yeah,
5-fight losing streak.
yeah, yeah. This was neither. I thought that Takahashi won. I don't think Kobo did. I don't know how the judges thought that he won, but overall, it was not a good fight from either of them. This is it. But listen, they're gonna bring Kubo back. Whoever you put him against, I don't know. Maybe maybe put him up against Hagiwara next. That'll probably be a more interesting uh fight. Or put Takahashi against Hagiwara. I think Hagiwara can easily beat Takahashi. I'm fine with either of those, but yeah, this fight was real. This was like bad judging, just bad fight overall. Daniel Lizbeck says that this is the best fighter that Kubo has beat. Not Ampo. Only kidding. But
I mean, come to think of it, considering the fact that I would say a certain free agent is now in the atmosphere because he just left K1. But now, considering the fact that he might be going to that damned one championship, are we ever going to see Masaaki Nori, Noiri, rematch Yuta Kubo?
By all accounts, I have not seen their fights, but their fights apparently those were also weird decisions as well. One of them was a weird decision that went to Kubo.
I mean, come to think of it, dude, they fought once upon a time in the Glory Grand Slam tournament about a decade ago.
Yeah, I guess you could promote it as the K1 rematch and a Rizin wing. I think they're 1-1. Don't do MMA. Don't do the Ampo thing where you do MMA. Don't do some dumb shit like that. Actually, another person who just left K1, Tatsuki Shinotsuka, will likely join Rizin. I think he's more likely to join. I agree with Daniel. I think he's more likely to join than Nori. I think probably one's going to get him unless we hear otherwise. But we got cleanse the palate of this dog shit match without a doubt. One of the best things, I think you loved it more than me, Christian, was Buakaw putting Minoru Kimura to sleep. Gush about this fight, Christian.
Yes, I am gushing from ear to fucking ear, seeing Buakaw Panchamek knock the fuck out of that drug cheater. No, that fucking PED abuser, that cheater, that juicer, Minoru Philip Kimura. I mean, seriously, Buakaw came correct. He came prepared. I just didn't think that he would be able even though, of course, let's just face it, he's won a whole bunch of K1 titles. He's fought in shoot boxing before. He's basically been one of the most legendary Thai fighters to ever fight for K1 or any other combat-based promotion over the last 30 years. But still, though, I think Buakaw knocking out Kimura definitely ranks up there to me with some of the greatest sporting upsets of all time, even Tyson versus Douglas.
See, I disagree. I don't think this was an upset. I think Buakaw fought this fight perfectly. He let Kimura run out the gas tank in the first round. As soon as that second round started, he's still dangerous. Listen, Tyler Kimura is still a dangerous Kimura, but he clearly did not have the energy to defend, to come with the same amount of power that he did in the first round. I know a lot of people were giving, especially because it was on a week's notice or however long, probably it was actually less than a week's notice, I think, when they announced it. But nonetheless, I think a lot of people underestimated Buakaw. They're like he's 41, but if you saw the fight with Ampo, he still fights, and I think he still had some other fights in between then. He still looks fantastic. Doesn't get tired, knows how to defend. He can still take punches. He said that Kimura was the hardest puncher ever faced, which, that's a compliment. Yeah, man, this was exciting. This fight felt there was something incredibly special about this fight. I was in Isha's chat when this fight was going on, and people were going crazy for it. People were going crazy. Discord. I'm sure people in the Beyond Kickboxing were going crazy. Listen, this fight had a great energy behind it. Just something. I wish it was in a ring. It was in a shitty cage. If it was in a ring, it'll be just a teeny bit more special. But this fight was just amazing in every way. And then we had Alpo come in, challenge Buakaw to the rematch. You want to see that rematch again? Because the first time they went to a draw.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. I mean, if they really want to do the rematch, make it one of the main card fights. Seriously. Yes. Definitely. Yeah. Make it one of the main card fights so that it can get some proper clearance, especially considering if Buakaw is going to be coming off of that Manny Pacquiao fight, if it ever happens. I think that fight would definitely need to be, one of the top priorities.
Actually, without that fight falling through, we don't get this match. So, great thing that but the thing that sucks is if they do that match later this year, that's going to fuck up any opportunity to bring back Buakaw, which hopefully doesn't happen. But an even bigger question, Christian, and I want to hear your opinion. What do you do with Minoru Philip Kimura next? What would you do with him?
Kimura is saying that he wants a rematch with Buakaw.
Nope, that doesn't happen. He was soundly defeated. He comes to you, you're Sakakibara. What do you? He says you tell him no. What other fight do you give him?
I mean, first of all, and I'm gonna post this right here. This is the reference tweet that I'm gonna be bringing up. But basically, I would be telling him the same thing. I'd be telling Philip Kimura the same thing that Michael Moorer told Frankie Swindell in August of 1993. Hey, man, quit being a bitch and take to defeat. Because, for one, you saying you want a rematch when you got clearly outclassed and put flat on your ass. You basically lost that fight because you came in, woe is me, thinking that you were going to easily sneak by after having not one, not two, but your recent 3 fights be put up as no contest because you had the nerve to cheat. But still, though, point of the matter is, I think that Buakaw needs to just basically come clean and just realize his career is at a crossroads right now because of the fact that, he just lost after basically putting over his knockout power. And yeah, this is, by the way, his first loss in Rizin competition since he got knocked out by Felony Charles Bennett back in September 2016. We all know the one. But still, though, I don't think Rizin should get rid of Philip Kimura that easily. Because, now he's their priority. Now, is there anywhere else he's going to be able to go because of the fact that, he's not going to be welcomed anywhere else? It's just a fact of what do you do with him next? Because it's pretty clear he can't do MMA. It's pretty clear that he can't really go anywhere else. You would have to think that there's going to be some way for him to fight on a future Rizin card. Maybe face off against Tatsuki Shinoshita, like you saying for Buakaw, right?
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. I still think the Ampo match they should do sometime down the line. I think that's still a big money match. I'm also thinking, listen, Cho Patrick Usami as well. Because Daniel says Kimura and deep kick. I'm not opposed to that either. The problem is that if they want to have that Ampo match, they gotta give him a fight where he can clearly win. And I don't know who you gotta give him somebody who's like an MMA fighter going to kickboxing, like a Beno, but Beno's already fighting somebody else, as it was announced during the show. You gotta give him a kickboxer who's willing to be a MMA fighter who's like, okay, I'll fight Kimura in kickboxing, and then that's what you do with him next. Also, this is all contingent that he passes drug tests as well. I say. If he doesn't pass the drug test, then you remember if he doesn't if he fails the drug test, Bara said he would ban him for life. So but I don't know if that's retroactive. So like if he fails his next drug test, does he? If he's that's like oh that's your first warning. By passing this one, I wonder if that like resets it.
To be honest, I don't know. But the thing is, Kimura would have to come clean or, don't show up at all.
Yeah, I mean, if going back to 150, but also the other thing, this fight was also at a catch weight. Neither of them cut any weight, or not a lot of weight.
What
Hey,
was
maybe
weight again? 165.
yeah. Maybe I'll tell you what. If they bring Nori to Rizin, that's who they debut him against is Kimura. That's not gonna happen.
Of course, but then again, we can always dream, can't we?
Yeah, and for the last fight, the one that opened the card, Yusaka Nakamura defeated Arman Ajimov. Ajimov missed weight; it was impossible for him to win. So I have nothing much to say about this fight. This fight really did absolutely nothing for me as well. Really shitty opening card fight.
Lose situation for Ashimov because I didn't even know he didn't make weight.
Yeah,
But
he didn't make weight, and then they came to an agreement on the weight. But nonetheless, still he got a red card. So,
but then
impossible for
again,
him
when
to
you
win.
think about Yusaku Nakamura, I mean, wouldn't this put him up into flyweight contention?
Well, I mean, he keeps winning. Kobe Day, you may not like it, but Nakamura somehow keeps getting these wins that he shouldn't be getting. Yep, I say put Nakamura against Ursan. If Ursan can beat Nakamura, that's great. But listen, I would not be surprised if Nakamura beat Ursan. Ajimov, nope. You fucked up your first time, boy. And also, it was his first MMA fight in a number of years. Let him try out in the regionals and or ACA or one of those other places. Once he gets some wins, give him the call back. He fucked up the road by missing weight. I have nothing net positive to say about it. He also fought very shittily as well. Any thoughts on either of these two folks, Jay Krish?
I mean, basically, you could say that Ashimov fought like he knew this was a vacation fight for him.
Literally, yeah. And didn't come prepared at all. But yeah, that's Rizin, Landmark 9, and Kobe. Jay Krish, we gotta be heading out soon, but I want to give you an opportunity for your fight nights and 2 finishes of the night.
Let's just say my fight of the night was. I mean, let's just say it. My fight of the night was one of my 2 finishes of the night, and that would definitely be Roberto Satoshi de Souza knocking out Kita Keitaro Nakamura. Well, actually, I know it sucks that, you say you fight of the night and 2 finishes of the night. I was going to say Taka Kenshin beating up Cody Jarabek was my second.
Okay.
But still, though, my second finish of the night happens to be the aforementioned Buakaw versus Philip Kimura fight.
Nice. So you took the words out of my mouth. Fight night. That fight exactly. That fight felt had great energy behind it. Loved it. Also finished of the night because it was an amazing finish and putting Kimura to sleep. And yeah, one more. You know what? I'll say. Let me try to be nice to all the submissions. Let me try to put a submission there. Shibata taking Ursan's knee with him, leg with him.
Yeah,
that knee bar.
Of course.
Jay Krish, what overall thoughts on Rizin? Would you give it thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, thumbs down for the show?
Thumbs up. Because when it comes down to this fight card, they could have done better. But then again, they can only do so much on such. I mean, I wouldn't really say they got a small budget. They can get Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao to potentially fight in the same damn ring later this year.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, but still, though, they can only do so much when it comes down to the show. It just sucks that we couldn't be able to watch it live on this side of the Pacific, so to speak. But at least, some of us were able to watch it through, certain means. Others were able to wait out throughout the week and just probably started watching the commentary-free version yesterday on Rizin.tv, which you could, by the way, get it for the low price of $20 through their premium pass, right?
Yeah. Just quickly, thumbs in the middle for me. The sum of the parts was not as great as a whole, but the parts that were great were fucking amazing. Like we said before, Buakaw and Kimura and the main event and Taka Kenshin. So yeah, Jay Krish, we got to head out, but I want you to give you an opportunity to plug your stuff.
Okay, if you want to check out more of what we got at Focus Fights, go to the Linktree page for Focus Fights, which is LI. Yeah, you can see it right there in the little caption in blue. Linktree linktr.ee/Focus Fights, and you can also follow me on Twitter now at. Well, actually, first of all, if you're not following me on Twitter, just to mention, I have changed my Twitter account up because I've had a really fucked up time with two-factor authentication and fuck you, elongated muskrat, by the way. I had to make a new Twitter account because of it. So my new Twitter handle is at jchrishgary, JChrishGary. But other than that, you can still follow me on Instagram, OnlyFans, Facebook and all that. But still, though, where you can check out more Focus Fights is through the Linktree page, which, oh, by the way, we're going to be doing a preview. We're going to be doing a review of this show on my channel for Focus Fights Audio this Saturday, if you're interested, Andrew.
What time? What time, though?
6 p.m. Eastern, 4 Mountain, 3 Pacific.
Great. Well, I'll try to make it if I can, but if not, you'll have J Wolf on, right?
Yeah, hopefully so.
Great. And for my stuff, I write for MMA Sucker. I do mostly writing about Rizin and the lovely PFL, the best promotion in the world. And you can follow at We Are Rizin Pod. Like and subscribe if you're not already. Do all that good shit. And also join the Rizin Discord. Just don't be an asshole. Don't be racist. But we have fun. And we just try to enjoy the fights while making fun of everybody. Yep.
I did send you that. MMA Sucker link about their anniversary. Did you happen to see it, or were you a part of it?
That was interesting. I didn't know that's how they started. I honestly didn't know that's how they started.
Okay.
But it was an interesting history lesson into the website that I've written for since I think it was the pandemic. I started with them because I had nothing else to do. So that's how I started with them.
Real quick before we go.
Yep.
With Bloody Elbow now being taken over by a bunch of clickbait assholes, what is the thought of what are your thoughts from somebody who is a part of MMA Sucker about the future of independent fight journalism? Because I can't really say for certain about Focus Fights. I mean, I'm just going to try and keep the Twitter going because I can't really post out and crank out articles for the website at a rapid pace like everybody else does.
Well, the great thing I like about MMA Sucker is that they have a policy. No AI stuff. Everything must be written by a person. If they find out that you did an AI for your article, you will be fired and never used again immediately. So I give them props for that. Yes, it's sad, especially because that website, the Bloody Elbow, now it's only AI. It's only AI, and it's now a aggregator. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah, basically there for clicks and likes.
Yeah, and that's happened to some articles I've written as well, where some aggregator just copies it and then kind of like changes up some stuff and then it happens with a bunch of articles I've written about Japanese MMA. It sucks, but listen, this is the environment we're in. Unfortunately,
we can do our best to try and make it better for everybody else around us. But I know you gotta go. I can't get the Lenny Hart soundbite, but I can just say it like her. We are Rizin! And you close us out.
Oh, thank you everybody for tuning in, contributing. Go to Discord, follow us and all that stuff here. Looking forward to the next show that we do, and thank you always for the support. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.